Some stunning admissions, shocking admissions, actually devastating admissions for Donald Trump being made by his former national security advisor on the right-wing propaganda network known as Fox this past weekend. So Robert O'Brien, who was national security advisor, the top of Donald Trump's national security apparatus, he goes on Fox and he's talking about why the United States should essentially conquer Greenland, should just, take it away from the Kingdom of Denmark, our NATO allies. But in doing so, Robert O'Brien talks about the reason that we need to conquer Greenland, I'll address all of this, is because of climate change, thus kind of gutting Donald Trump's whole concept that climate change is a hoax. So just think about this appearance. On the one hand, fracturing our allies, and on the other hand, fracturing his own MAGA base. And this, as Donald Trump is already turning the MAGA base against him by saying that we actually do need immigrants, but only for his billionaire tech bros. Here, watch O'Brien's appearance on Fox from this weekend. Let's play it.
Well, the latest is Greenland is a highway from the Arctic all the way to North America to the United States. It's strategically very important to the Arctic, which is going to be the critical battleground of the future, because as the climate gets warmer, the Arctic is going to be a pathway that maybe it cuts down on the usage of the Panama Canal. And the Russians and Chinese are all over the Arctic. Now,
did you hear what he said right there? He said why it's strategically important, because as the climate gets warmer, we're going to need it as a base. Now, he also made posts about this as well. Trump's former national security advisor, Robert C. O'Brien, goes, Trump is 100% right again. Greenland is critical to the defense of the USA. We love the Danes, but a couple of additional drones, dog sled teams, and inspection ships are not enough to defend Greenland against the Russians and the Chinese communists. Greenland needs anti-aircraft, counter-UAV drone, and anti-ship missile systems. It also requires a bunch of other stuff, and he's saying that's why essentially the United States should take it over. Now, these are not things to just joke about or throw out there in international affairs where you start talking about conquest and annexing nations and taking over countries, okay? The Danes have a history where this took place. They were neutral at first during World War II, and Hitler invaded. He took a Sharpie, he put it over the Jutlands, and then he changed the course of history by saying that Germany needed to invade Denmark, which it did. It occupied Denmark for a number of years during World War II. There was a resistance that took hold in Denmark to fight against authoritarianism and fascism, and then Denmark joined NATO in the late 1940s as a bulwark against this type of conduct. Now, you saw over the weekend, I did a video about how Denmark now has to beef up its national security against the United States of America as a result of these threats by America against our own NATO ally. Let's go into more of what O'Brien was saying on this appearance, though, because there are more stunning and damning admissions right here. So here, O'Brien shows that he has no clue about history, or just he's a freaking liar. He goes in and he goes, the reason basically why we need to take over Panama is because Donald Trump saw what was going on there. He saw what the Chinese were doing in Panama. And he's like, we need to take this back. This is not good for American interests. Watch what O'Brien says, but then I'm going to fact check him pretty quickly. So let me show you this clip first, though. Let's play it.
You know, parallels between Trump and Reagan. I talked about this when I was national security advisor on Peace or Strength. Trump saw what's happening to the canal, and he says, we're not going to put up with it anymore. And the Panamanians can get with the program, or we may have to take the canal back.
Wow. All right, so let me get this straight, O'Brien. So you're saying Trump saw now what was happening in Panama? First, let's be clear that the Chinese government does not control the Panama Canal. That's just not accurate. It is accurate that Panama and China established diplomatic relations in 2017. when Donald Trump was in office. Trump was too busy posting tweets with all caps and saying Russia, Russia, Russia over and over again while inviting Sergei Kislyak and Lavrov to the Oval Office. And he really wasn't paying attention to this, or he was too weak to stand up to President Xi, because in 2017, Panama rejected Taiwan as its long-standing ally and then established formal diplomatic ties with Beijing. China then started making billions of dollars in investment when President Xi made his first official state diplomatic visit to Panama in 2018 when Donald Trump was in office. So the fact that China got a foothold in Panama in the first place, O'Brien, is because of Donald Trump and Donald Trump's failure to understand geopolitical diplomacy in the first instance. So let's make that very clear. But now we're seeing with Donald Trump's conduct the same types of things happening around the world. People viewing Donald Trump as unstable, as a crazy person. Is he serious about these threats of conquest? In international affairs, when people use fight words like, we're going to take this over, they usually do, right? Like, President Xi is not doing jokes about taking over Taiwan. When he says one China, when he talks about it, we take that seriously. He's not just posting. Could you imagine? Think about this. Imagine if President Xi posted on social media that he was thinking about taking over Japan. Hey, I think that Japan really belongs to China. And he social media posted it in all caps letters. Do you think anybody in the world would be saying, oh, that's just President Xi being President Xi? He's not really going to invade Japan. Or do you think people would be on red alert because when he says something, he actually means that's what he's going to do, right? So when Donald Trump's like, we should take over Denmark, we should take over Canada. Yes, there is a part of it where you're like, oh, he's just an idiot who trolls and this is just who he is. And the fact that perhaps it's not taken more seriously shows how weak and pathetic Trump is in the first place. That, that's just what he does. He just threatens to invade countries, but he's a troll. But think about it from an international perspective when they hear language like that. Wait a minute. Are they going to try to conquer us? Am I safe? Why are we part of an alliance with someone who wants to conquer us? Should we be allies with somebody else? That's what's taking place right now. And just take a look what's happening around the world. As Donald Trump wants to troll Mexico, guess who met with President Xi at the G20? Who wasn't supposed to? Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico. She not only met with President Xi, but they made it very clear that they wanted it public, that they were meeting together for different reasons. China and Mexico wanted it public. China because it wants a foothold in Mexico and in North America, Central America, and South America, and across the world. Claudia Sheinbaum was clearly sending a message in this photo by saying, look, America, we can go elsewhere if you start bullying us and mocking our national sovereignty or threatening our national sovereignty. That meeting was not supposed to happen. But why did it happen in November? Because of Donald Trump. That's why it happened. Now, I'm not going to play for you this video because, quite frankly, it irritates me. But let me describe what happens. Governor Sununu, the Republican governor of New Hampshire, Mr. Appeaser of accordion hands himself, Sununu goes on State of the Union on CNN, and he's asked by Dana Bash, one of the concerns is that Elon Musk has billions tied in government contracts. You don't see a conflict of interest that Elon Musk is running the show right now with Donald Trump? Sununu, everyone has a conflict of interest. Everyone has a conflict of interest. But that's a pretty big one, Dana Bash responds, to which Sununu, the Republican governor of New Hampshire, goes, but he's so rich, he's removed from potential financial influence. When Republicans take that perspective, he's too rich, there can't be a conflict of interest. Everybody has conflicts of interest. Let me be very clear. There's nothing that they won't justify. You want to know how people appeased the Nazis, how people went along with things? It's a mentality and attitude like we just saw there with Sununu that I don't even want to play the clip. You want to watch the clip, go Google it and find the clip on your own. It irritates me too much. But that's what he says. There's no depths to their depravity when you go. You could justify anything with that horrific illogic. And so I want to point it out to you. And I want you to know what this is all about. This is about the people supporting oligarch billionaires who want to trample over we the people. And now they have this imperialistic ambition of conquest of our allies that I think should be taken seriously. Go back to the thought experiment I gave you. If President Xi posted, he's taking over Taiwan, he's going to be taking over Japan, or he's going to be taking over South Korea. Okay, say he posted that. That's a beautiful country. And then he did a meme of the Chinese flag in South Korea or in Tokyo or you name it. Do you think people go, oh, that's the troll? No, they take it freaking seriously. Okay? And Trump's having his national security advisor say this? Really? Oh, but these were the people who were saying Trump was going to stop World War III. Did they really mean that he was going to be the bad guy in World War III and turn America into what Germany was during World War II? Oh, what? Donald Trump making a lot of statements that sounded like that German guy during the campaign? That didn't give you the heads up of where this was going? And you wonder why Denmark's worried? You wonder why Canada's pissed? You wonder why our European ally? You wonder why? Hit subscribe. Let's get to 4 million subscribers. I'm sorry I didn't play you that Sununu clip. It bothers me. You get the point. You can watch it yourself.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.